Hey, Merry Christmas Eve, everyone. This is Jeff Risen with your daily DLP for, Christmas Eve. We got a football game tomorrow, and it's not one that the NFL expected when they scheduled this back in May. The Lions visiting the Vikings last year. Lions were 15-2. Vikings were 14-3. Their game at the end of the season decided the NFC North, decided the one seed in the NFL. And this year, they're playing for last place in the NFC North. Technically, the Lions still have some playoff life. And I don't want to short shift that because there is a path. There really is. If the Lions win out, if they beat the Vikings, which they're favored to do, and then beat the Bears, which will not be easy in Chicago, but it's plausible that the Lions could win that, and the Packers lose out. They don't know who's going to be playing quarterback for them this week yet, as of Wednesday night, Thursday morning, or who knows? So it's plausible. Do I expect it to happen? Not with the way that the Lions have been playing, but you can't rule it out. And I do think that that's one of the reasons why you should like the Lions in this game, because they do still have some playoff vitality. And the stigma of finishing in last, going from having the best record in the NFC to last place in your division, that's not going to sit well with Dan Campbell and a Dan Campbell coached team. So I'm bullish on that, but we'll get to the preview later. One of the reasons to like the Lions in this game is that about 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesday, the Vikings ruled out JJ McCarthy. Their quarterback has another injury. He has a hairline fracture in his hand. He will not be playing. It appears that he's out for the year. If I had a Vikings-centric podcast, I would be going a little bit crazy now because this is his 5th injury in 2 years. And I actually was on a Vikings podcast on Tuesday, First and Skull, with my good friend and former Wire cohort. He's now with A to Z, Tyler Fornes. Tyler's a good dude. He's a fairly level-headed guy. I enjoyed talking with him. We talked about JJ McCarthy, and the new Vikings starting quarterback for this week is Max Brosmer. And if you're a Lions fan, you're forgiven for not knowing who the hell Max Brosmer is. He played at Minnesota last year. Before that, he spent several seasons at New Hampshire. He is an undrafted rookie. He does have an arm. He does have pretty good accuracy, too. I did not scout him extensively because the Lions weren't super needy of a quarterback. Remember when we still all believed in Hendon Hooker, the way fifth graders sort of still believe in Santa Claus, but you're kind of having skeptical doubts about it. That's sort of where the Lions were at this point a year ago. Now, Brosmer is not bad. He does have one start. He lost to the Seahawks. Most teams lose to the Seahawks. It's not an indictment on him. He's played okay. Mop-up duty primarily for McCarthy, but we'll see what Max Brosmer can do. But I like the idea of the Lions defense getting a little bit of a reprieve from a murderer's row of quarterbacks. This isn't Aaron Rodgers. This isn't Matthew Stafford. Isn't Jordan Love, who may or may not be ready this week. We'll see. But yeah, they're playing also without Christian Darrisaw, their left tackle. That certainly should help the Lions pass rush. He's out. He's not the only person that's out, but they have been just ravaged with injuries lately, putting a lot of their guys. Once they were eliminated, they did what smart teams do and shut guys down for the season that were mildly injured, much in the way that the Lions did with Kirby Joseph a week ago. There's no sense in prolonging the inevitable anymore. So they are a wounded team, but they are still a dangerous team. And I will bring up something that the producer of the First and Skull podcast told me as I was recording, and I didn't realize it. and I'm glad that I went on the show because I learned something. Vikings haven't given up a passing touchdown in 6 games in a row. They're the first team to do that since the team that became the dog pound in Cleveland, the Browns of 1989. That was my senior year of high school that year. That team, look, I am not a Browns fan, but being in the Cleveland area, I loved Hanford Dixon and Frank Minifield. Those guys were an incredible cornerback tandem. I will always hold them in very high regard, and they are the progenitors of the dog pound because they started barking at each other when they did good things. If you're doing something that defense did and hasn't been done since then, you're doing something right. So points figured to be difficult to come by, certainly through the air in this game, between the combination of Brosmer's inexperience, albeit with a very good supporting cast, but also an interesting offensive line mix in Minnesota, and their pass defense going against a Lions passing offense that has been inconsistent. I think Goff has been pretty good, but there's room for improvement there. The pass blocking is going to have to be better. Get to the injuries in a minute, but this is a legit defense, and we saw it the first time we played them. They made life hell for Jared Goff with the blitzing, just punishing the A-gap. And right now, that A-gap isn't any better than it was back then in that loss. That loss, to me, and this is something that we've talked about in the Patreon Slack, and it's a great conversation to have. It's one of the reasons why you should join in there. Just $5 a month. It's worth it because you get to have prolonged discussions about the frustration that game specifically was. Because JJ McCarthy, for the first 2 drives of that game, looked like a top 10 draft pick. He really did. And then Kevin O'Connell, who's a very, very respectable head coach. I like Kevin O'Connell. I think he's a very good offensive mind. When that script ran out, boy, so did JJ. And the Lions really came back and roared. But their offense couldn't quite overcome because they made too many mistakes. That can't happen this time. Can't turn the ball over. Can't go for it on 4th down and miss. No matter where you're at on the field, whether it's in the red zone, whether it's at the 48-yard line and you're sort of in no man's land, and you probably should go for it because it's a little too close to punt and it's a little too far to kick. Like, you need to convert them. Can't miss them if you're going for them. Be nice to get David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs both going at the same time because they've not been great lately. Talked about that in yesterday's daily DLP. Between the negative runs where they got hit in the backfield, the unblocked guys going after them, Jack Sawyer getting 3 tackles for losses and no one touched him on any of the 3. Hard to pin that on Gibbs and Monty. They need to get those things cleaned up on a short week. It's not easy to do. But there's some potential for that to get better. I want to go over the injury report, and I'll bring it up here from Tuesday. And it is not the most promising, but it's better. This comes straight from the Lions. Again, they just did walkthroughs. Because of it's a short week and because they're so banged up. As you see, Avonte Maddox, David Montgomery still out. Now, Montgomery is out for an illness. I expect that'll pass. I hope that'll pass. Nobody wants to be sick at Christmas time. Nobody wants to be sick and miss a game. Maddox also with an illness, but he also had back cramping and spasms in the last game. Fingers crossed that he's okay. Even though he's not playing well and did not play well at all against the Steelers, he's still the best safety on the team that's healthy. And that's it'd be nice to have him out there just as a veteran presence to maybe to help take advantage of an inexperienced greenhorn at quarterback like Max Brosmer, and they do still have a lot of receiving talent. Jefferson, Addison, Naylor, Hawkinson. I don't know if Hawkinson's going to play. He's always hurting with something. We'll see. I don't know. That offensive line, that's where I want to look at. And you see it right here. Marcus Davenport, limited. Tristan Colon, limited with the wrist. He was certainly limited. Didn't play last week. Taylor Decker doing his typical. Then you get to Christian Mahogany, Giovanni Manu, Graham Glasgow down here. This is the encouraging one. Graham Glasgow upgraded to a full practice. Hope he can go. Having said that, I still want to see Kingsley Aguakun start and at least start the game and see what he's doing. But this is a game where Glasgow's experience in making line calls and reading defenses at the NFL level against the Vikings, they blitz to a fault, but they do blitz. And you need the experienced guy in Glasgow in there somewhere. So while I do advocate for Kingsley Aguakun to be the center, I understand why they would go with Glasgow with this, and I wouldn't have a problem at all if Graham's healthy, if he can play. He probably should, just to keep Jared Goff comfortable. Because it felt like Goff wasn't super comfortable last week, even though Aguakun played okay. Certainly not all on him. You have Penei Sewell coming off the worst game of his career. I have a feeling he's going to get some payback on that. Looks like Decker will be fine, which is good. Manu, who knows? It would be nice if he could get activated just to be like in a game. If week 18 means nothing, I would not advocate for starting him, but maybe get him in for a series or two in the way that they've worked in Miles Frazier. No, I don't know why they're not doing more with Miles Frazier. That's unfortunately, not where I'm at, but I like Miles Frazier. Somebody asked me today on social media if I think he can be the left tackle of the future. Yes, I think that it's worth considering him being the left tackle. He shouldn't be given that job. He should have to earn it. He should have competition for whenever Taylor Decker moves on, whether it's this offseason or next. Lions don't need to pressure Taylor into that. He'll come to it on his own. He's been a warrior for a long time. Got to respect that. I'd love to have Taylor Decker back for another season. No doubt about it. Lions are better with him. But you've got to also have a backup plan, better than what they did for what happened with Ragnow and Zeitler. They planned for one, not both to be gone. Both late in the game, too. Can't get caught with your pants down again. If Frazier is part of that, look, I liked him more as a tackle than a guard. But playing him a guard in this game, whether it's a rotation, something, just to see what fits together, what mixes together well, I'm for it. I am for, in this game, abandoning 12 personnel completely. This is something that has bugged me since Sam Laporta went out, but especially since Brock Wright also went out and was lost for the season. You don't have two NFL caliber tight ends on the roster. Stop playing two of them at the same time. You've got Isaac Tesla when you've got Khalif Raymond basically on the bench for them as wide receivers. Who's a better threat? Who's a bigger threat to the defense? Khalif Raymond or Giovanni Ricci? Isaac Tesla or Zach Horton? You can throw Shane Zylstra in there. Anthony Ferkser. These are guys who were available on the street late in the season, multiple seasons in Ferkser's case. Look, he played great against Pittsburgh. He did. He played very well. It was nice to see a tight end get involved and catch some passes and actually run routes. Blocking isn't there at all with any of these guys, really. Ricci's okay. One of my bigger complaints all season has been that they have not catered to the talent that they have. Something I talked about in yesterday's daily. Coach the team you have, not the team you want to have. And I think you'll get better results. And I hope that that idea, that concept is permeating in. Because the Vikings, their pass defense is really good. Clearly, they haven't given up a touchdown. Now, they do give up rushing touchdowns. They have given up touchdowns to the opposing defense. Thanks, JJ. But if you're going to attack a defense like this, have your best weapons on the field. So I hope we see that. That would be a nice Christmas present from whoever is calling the offense, whether it's John Morton, Dan Campbell, Scotty Montgomery, some David Shaw, some melange combination of all of them in designing it. I know Dan calls the plays during the games. I still wonder how much John Morton is designing the game script, designing the plan of attack, how much Shaw's involved in that as the passing game coordinator. Don't really know that yet. By the way, Die Hard is indeed a Christmas movie. My daughter got me that for Christmas last year. Great gift. Hopefully you've watched Die Hard. Just makes you feel good. It's a feel-good movie for being about terrorists taking over the Nakatomi Towers. It's a feel-good one. Hope you all are feeling good. It's Christmas Eve, man. Even if you don't celebrate the Christian holidays, holiday season, people trying to be good to one another, keep that sentiment out there. Lions are playing on Christmas. Again, not the game that I think, by the way, the game before it is Dallas and Washington. Another game where that's just not, like both teams have been eliminated already. I don't think the NFL schedule makers saw that either. I almost hope that the ratings are bad for these games, so we're not bombarded with the doubleheader on Christmas. Look, who really wants the NFL on Christmas? Like, I know there's a lot of people that aren't NBA fans. My family happens to be a basketball family, so we like the NBA owning Christmas. It's sort of a tradition. The NFL could let them have that. Or maybe just make it one game. I don't know. The fact that it's on a Thursday, don't care for that either. But short week. We played Thursday at 4:20. We played Sunday 4:20. We played Thursday at 4:20. Short break. That's tough. Anyways, want to see this game. Want to see the Lions attack Brosmer. Bring some heat. Blitz him. Break tendencies defensively, Kelvin Shepard. It's your defense. Unwrap something cool. Something unexpected. I think we'd all like that for Christmas as well. That's going to wrap today's daily. I will have another one for you on Christmas morning. It will be more of a pregame type setup thing. Don't know if I'll have time to get the written last minute thoughts and final game score prediction this week due to a lot of extenuating circumstances, including the holidays and holiday travel and all that good stuff. But that might wind up being the daily tomorrow. But anyways, I don't know if there's a post-game show. I haven't talked with Chris on yet. We are still tentatively trying to do a live show Friday. We will see how that goes. Win or lose. Let's hope it's a win. Go Lions and Merry Christmas.